Okay, so we're continuing our demonstration of Andean Abyss, and we're still executing the Kalima front card. The FARC has gone ahead and moved on to just about every conceivable line of communications possible on the map, which is going to create a huge problem for the government. Here's the situation. This is what this does. For every guerrilla on a lock that outnumbers the number of cubes on that same lock, during a propaganda phase, will sabotage the lock. So during the control segment of a propaganda card, if the number of guerrillas on this lock exceed the number of cubes on that lock, the lock is sabotaged. The government, during the resources segment, will collect 30 resources minus the economic value of a sabotage lock. So if you sabotage enough locks, the government's not going to get very many resources. So the government needs to deal with this problem, and they need to deal with it now. The other threat is if the FARC does not want to wait until the propaganda phase, if they execute a terror operation on a lock. The terror operation requires that the FARC have an underground guerrilla. But if they execute a terror operation with an underground guerrilla there on a lock, the lock is immediately sabotaged, and it remains that way. There's really no way to recover a sabotaged lock aside from a few events until the end of a propaganda round. So the government has to deal with this situation. The problem is because the FARC executed an op and a special activity, the government's only options are to execute the event or a limited op, and a limited op would only allow them to clear one of these locks of the FARC guerrillas. So there's really no good option right now for the government, but fortunately they are number one eligible on the next card. So what we're going to do is pass, which gives the government 3 resources. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3, and that ends the faction and card play. And now everybody but FARC is going to be eligible to play on Occidental and Echo Petrol. Oh, and it's a shame because the next, these are all good events. I mean, these are good events for the government, and it's a shame that they have to use them in this way. But what the government's going to do here is they have to do an operation, and what they need to do is they need to do a patrol operation. Here's what patrol does. Patrols protect locks and redeploy among cities. What you do is you pay 3 resources total. No matter how many police you move or troops you move or how many locks you move onto, etc. You pay a grand total of 3 resources, and you move any cubes into or along adjacent locks or cities, stopping at guerrillas. In each lock, you activate 1 guerrilla for each cube there. If desired, you may execute a free assault on one of those locks. So here is the situation. This particular card, the shaded portion is nasty. Shift a space adjacent to a 3-value economic lock by 2 levels toward active opposition. The question, though, is will the AUC or the cartels play that against the government? The government's going to presuppose that they will not, because it's really not in the AUC's interest. And cartel has other problems at the moment. They need to get bases on board, and they don't want to burn a card play by doing that. So the government's going to go ahead and risk and take a special activity. We're going to do a patrol action, which costs 1, 2, 3 resources. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to move in these locks and try to expose. Our first priority is to expose any underground guerrillas. So this one moves in here. And he has to stop. Well, as soon as you enter a lock with a guerrilla, you have to stop, and it activates the guerrilla on a lock. It doesn't activate any guerrillas in cities, just on locks. This one here will move into Putumayo and activate him. There's 2 on this particular lock. So the 2 troop cubes are going to move in here and go bang, bang. You know what? I'm going to keep the troops together in case I need to do an airlift or something. It's just easier to keep them together, even though I'm just going to use the 2 of them to expose the guerrillas there. All right, he's going to expose him. I'm going to send 1 troop cube on that lock just to keep him tied down. He can go on here, expose him. Troops up in Bucaramanga. These guys will be good for this. Let's go ahead and take this one and go 1, 2, just see, he moves onto this lock here. There's no guerrillas, so he can keep moving. He moves in that town, no guerrillas, keeps on moving. He gets here, activates him. Next, we'll go ahead and take these police up here. Onto the guerrilla-free lock, onto this lock, which will protect it. Move him onto that lock and protect it. This one here, move onto here and expose him. And, whoops, move these other police onto lock, and into city. You know what? Shoot, that won't work. Yeah, let's get him let's get him on this lock just in case. Let's just try to get a police on each lock, and we'll move him onto that one there as well. Try to have some police handy, slow the enemy down here. Put him on that lock. We'll go ahead and put this one here on this lock. Okay, that's the situation. There's only one lock I haven't sent any cubes along, and that's because I just don't have any that can get there right now. So in one selected area, one selected lock rather, I can do a free assault. So I'm going to assault right here because that gets rid of maximum number of FARC guerrillas. Bang, gone. So those are gone. These guys are stretched out along the lock. Okay, everybody else was activated, so the terror threat on the locks is big time diminished. Next, I can do a special action, and I'm going to do an airstrike. And what I'm going to do with an airstrike is I'm going to kill this guerrilla way up here. Do an airstrike. What an airstrike is, destroy an exposed insurgent unit. It may accompany a patrol, a sweep, or an assault. And you can do it in any department or lock. You can never airstrike in a city. The neighbors tend to frown on that. So I removed the one active piece. I could also destroy a base with an airstrike, but again, guerrillas protect bases. So the only bases I could actually destroy are these unprotected cartel bases, but the cartels have been somewhat neutered as of the moment. So bigger threat is FARC. So we went after them, and we were able to kill 3 of their guerrillas off the locks. So that was the government response. Now, looks like cartels are next, and then the AUC. So cartels could execute the event or a limited op. If they pass, they'll be first eligible on the next card, which gives them more bang for their buck, because this event really doesn't help the cartels. So they will pass and collect 1 resource, leaving the AUC to decide what to do. The AUC, tell you what they're going to do. They're going to go ahead and take the limited op because they're last on this card. So they have nothing to lose by doing this. Again, the event's not terribly helpful for them, but a limited op would be. So they're going to spend 1 resource, and they're going to rally in Antioquia, which allows them to remove 2 guerrillas and instead place a AUC base into the second base space in that area. So there we go. They're in excellent shape now in Antioquia. They can't do any special actions, so that's done for them. So we end their faction play and the card play, and that brings us to Tres Equinas. Oh, Esquinas. Tres Esquinas is going to be the last card before propaganda phase. So let's go ahead and wrap this up here, and then we'll show what a propaganda round does in the next video. So let's do this one here real quick. FARC is going to have second priority here. So cartels are actually going to take the op and a special action here. And what they're going to do is they're going to rally. They're going to rally in a bunch of areas. 1, 2, they need bases big time. Oh, shoot. 1, 2, 3. This was a very rough first round for the cartels. Let's see if we can't get into some of these cities now. Try lower key cities. We're going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what we're going to do for now, just the 4. And we're going to place 1 guerrilla in each of these spaces. So that right in here is 1. Let's go ahead and diminish this by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we've done that. Up here, dispatch cartel guerrilla, control 8, so he's gone. Put 1 here. And last one. Okay. Next, they are going to do a cultivate. Well, I don't know. You know, actually, I got a better move here. For the cartels, there's another special action. Cultivate will allow them to put a base into a department where the number of cartel guerrillas exceed police. So they could put 1 base in here, just bang. But process might be better. Process allows the with any rally, you can do any kind of special activity for the cartels. What process does is allows you to place drug shipments. So I can place 1 or 2 drug shipments with any guerrillas, or remove any cartel bases and add 3 cartel resources for each. Why would I want to remove bases? Well, maybe I have a ton of bases on board and I can afford it because I need the resources. Right now, that's not the case. Right now, we're going to place 2 shipments, and they can be in any cities or departments with cartel bases. So I'm going to rethink this whole move that I just did, because I placed a guerrilla there, and up here. What was the 4th one? Putumayo? Yeah, Putumayo. I think I want to rally there for sure. So I rally 1 there. And in the second area, I think I'll rally here, which will allow me to place 2. And the third area I'll rally is going to be... You know what? I will put a 3rd one into a city, like right here. Ibagwe. Well, you know what? I kind of like the off-beaten path up here. All right. So I only spent 3 instead of 4. Get 1 resource back. And then I'm going to place 1 or 2 shipments with any guerrillas. So I have to do this in cities or departments with cartel bases. Actually, no, that's not going to help me at all either. Shoot. All right, so I've rallied in 3. Let's go back to the original plan, but instead I'm going to modify it. I'm going to put 1 in that city and put another one down here in Nariño. Okay, so we did spend 4. We rallied in Nariño. We rallied in Putumayo for 2. We rallied in Ibagwe and Sincelejo. That's where we've rallied. Okay, I'm done now. All right, and I don't have too many on the map, I don't think. 2, 3, 4. So we spent 4 resources to do all that. Okay, all well and good. And then we're going to place a shipment in any city or department that has a base. So, well, do a shipment there. You know, the more I'm thinking about this, I need to double check the rule and just make sure that I'm doing that right, because, again, I want to make sure that I don't have to have a base. My goal is to get a shipment into an area so that I can place a base. It's just a quick way for me to establish a base. So let me look at the cultivate process. Yeah, it has to accompany rally or march, and it has to have a cartel's base. All right, so that doesn't help me at all to do it. I was trying to weasel something there, but that's not going to work. All right, so back to Plan B, away from Plan C. So we've rallied in Guaviare, and we're going to place 2 shipments, 1 in each, with each guerrilla in Guaviare. So what we've done, we rallied in Putumayo, Guaviare, and Sincelejo. So that was only 3 resources, so we get 1 back. All right. I think that's right. I think that's the direction I think should go. Okay.